Well, hello everyone, I'm Darth Browner, and welcome to the latest part of my Ace Attorney Justice for All playthrough. In the previous video, poor old Dick Gumshoe got caught up by Franziska for allying with the enemy. Phoenix heard from his kidnapper, who says Maya is alright, and he finally meets Miles Edgeworth again, where they discover that Engarde's manager, Adrian Andrews, has potential motive for murder and has codependency issues. Could this be the murderer? Who knows? But there's a lot of pressure on Phoenix as he tries to get an acquittal for his client in one day. Can he do it? Ooh, we'll better find out now, poppets. Let's go, go, go! Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way! That woman could do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there is someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer, dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Mia, we must get a complete acquittal today. I know. I can't focus on my situation right now, or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed, well, let's get going. It's him. This is right. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney, the day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake, as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give to me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts, even if you don't like my gift. I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. Wait. Kidnapper sent me a present? Mr. Lawyer, dude, who was that? No one. It has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer?
Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Engarde. Are the prosecution and defence ready?
The defence is ready, Your Honour.
I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma?
I don't know, Your Honour. Why are you getting mad at me?
Your Honour, please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it?
Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman.
What?
Shot? Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. The present. Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. This is totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she alright?
I don't have that answer.
She's alive and in stable condition.
That's good. Phew.
I thought he'd show up. Your Honour, due to the circumstances, Miss Franziska Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. Prosecution is ready, naturally. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked over this case and I'm familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Engarde.
The court acknowledges the prosecution.
Right, I finally found the answer I was struggling for my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Witness, your name and occupation. My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct, for now. For now? After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. Detective Gumshoe. Prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Now let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight. Yeah, it would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. An answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes Award ceremony, sir. Victim, Juan Reader, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe it was definitely murdered, sir. At first we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room? Yes, sir. But the victim and defendant went alone to their room, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. The cause of death, wasn't that because Mr. Creeder was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now, real pros attention will be drawn here to this bandana. Bandana? His bandana, sir. That thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir. Oh yes, I see. His banana scented bandana. Then what about the knife? Seems to have been struck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. We have a crafty murderer on our hands here. Why do you think that? Because it was empty, pal. No ninja never doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Oh, how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? We thought that too, but any fingerprints on the guitar case for the victims? Only the victims, though. I see. Oh, so much for my theory now. Not convinced you had nothing to do with the case. Guitar wasn't at the Gateway Hotel that night. Why was it? White red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. Victim, Uncle Reader, and apparently taking the case with him, sir. So you mean you've got to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have a guitar. So that guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel? Yeah, that's right. So it's really had nothing to do with the case after all. I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana, and after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then did the police arrest Matt Engarde? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. It's like Edgeworth's back in full swing. Very well, Detective Gumshoe. Please testify about that matter. Yes, sir. Matt Engarde and Al Credo were huge rivals with each other. They even thought the other guy was in his way. Moving enough in my book. As for evidence, there's Jammin' Ninja's button. Ripped off of the ninja costume and was found in Mr. Engarde's hammer. Defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. Defendant brought the knife for the crime, which makes this premeditated murder. So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife.
used in the stabbing. It's still sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. And there's this button. That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And is this the button covered in blood? Yes, we know that the blood on this is the victim's blood, sir. What? Oh, this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it? Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honour. Ready to give in yet? Right? I'll find a hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you like, just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument is that the premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand? That's right, pal. Defendant did not buy this knife. Take a good look at the handle of this knife and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a Gatewater seal set into the handle. Gatewater? I think I heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel, the Gatewater Hotel. Oh. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. Yes, that is very true. This is a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgware? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that's dumb enough not to realise this. But I didn't know. Oh. The question is, where did this knife come from? Why is that obvious? It came from the victim, Mr. Creeder's room. Sorry, Your Honour, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. That being the case, I'd like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. There is a knife and a fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from? If it pleases the court, I'd like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt Engarde. Especially what was on top of his table. There is something missing, perhaps it is a single knife. We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt Engarde's knife was missing. Mr. Engarde had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe that the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. Seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps and I just walked headlong into it. A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There's quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of Your Honour's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defence were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown. He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. What does the defence have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Well, Phoenix, the judge is favouring the prosecution right now. The answer was something wrong here. The gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat. Mr. Wright, you have something important and necessary to present to this court. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court is yet to see. Mr. Wright? I'll say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I'm giving you one chance and only one. What the judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us. We will now present one and only one piece of evidence. Now then, what is this important piece of evidence that you must show to the court? This is a wine glass, is it not? Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase is broken, his makeup is all over the floor. These are all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes, I see your point. However, this glass is sitting on top of the dresser, mysteriously untouched. Only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you have to say? Oh, well, yes. It is a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was. You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth, what is it, Your Honour? Your opinion. You don't need my opinion, because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place, by the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. Well, it does sound very plausible. Mr. Wright, could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? If I appear weak here, the trial is over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty. It just might fall for it if you're thought-provoking enough. Defence would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. Well, you turn the situation on its head. Yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? No way he has any, just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I'll never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? You're not thinking hard enough today, right? Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then, of course it's been thoroughly inspected. For fingerprints. Fingerprints? There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. Only one? Well, whose were they? They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were one Adrian Andrews. What? That is why I said that the person who discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? Oh, I can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Corrida. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. Well, what you just said makes a lot of sense. Now do you see, right? You can't challenge any part of my scenario that explains everything all too well. I thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. From here on out, I will show you the answer I've come to discover. Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I can't allow you to pass judgment yet. Prosecution is yet another witness that we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Witness, your name and occupation, please. Ha! Gotcha! I wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier. Oh, Edgy boy, it's been more than years since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew under that helmet? It was the wicked witch of the witness stand. I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today I'm going to tell you anything and everything. Even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime. Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all the court needs to know. Shush! I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgy right now. Don't interrupt us, Grumps. Yes, madam.
No, please, by all means interrupt her, please! Anyway, witness, your testimony, please.
It's true what they say, that the evil hot-headed nowadays don't like mine at all, Edgy. Now then, what should I start with?
The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag?
It was a great job being able to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle.
You mean you're a fan of the victim?
Look, everyone's crazy over that Engarde saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm really interested in a real man, Juan Guida.
But those two were the same age?
Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of this room last night.
Very well, please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder.
Leave it to me, Edgy Poo. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in the front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was Engarde, Matt Engarde. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room.
So Mr. Engarde came from the victim's room?
See, it has to be him. He's the murderer.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. You saw my client. Are you sure about that?
Yes, he.
Really?
Annoying brat, when I say I saw someone, I saw that person.
Well, I guess there's a deja vu. Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into this a bit further. Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail.
What a troublesome man you are, really, as if something like that matters.
But it does.
Now, what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing.
What thing?
Gaudy thing he's always wearing, that racing jacket.
Oh, he's wearing that at the detention centre too.
That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Man.
Right. So, Mr. Wright, what was this testimony just now? Was it or relevant in any way? Of course it was important, Your Honour. And perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important, don't you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honour, I request that what the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony. I don't quite see where you're going with this, but alright, witness, please.
Ah, well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must.
Miss Oldbag?
What? Don't say my name for no reason.
Do you know what this is?
It's button number 2 on the Jammin' Ninja's costume.
Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance.
Give it here, you didn't give it here. I will punish you with this.
Wow, she really is a die-hard fan to want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. Engarde's body during a full body search.
See? See? This button proved beyond a shadow of doubt it was that rascal
Engarde. It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai Hakama pants.
See? And Engarde is the nickel samurai.
Witness? Now it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination. Just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Matt Engarde, wearing his usual racing jacket?
I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear.
I wore the trendiest clothes and anything else was gorgeous women ever.
Now hold your tongue still there for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Engarde, that man. But Mr. Engarde, the Nicholas Samurai. When you think about it, they're really one and the same anyway. This old bag, this is a very important point we're talking about. Edgy poo, do you think so too? Well, it might be something worth considering. Just say it's important to agree with me for a change. Right, let's think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify. Alright, if you insist. I should be the one to sign, not you. Engarde, yes, now I remember. The Nicholas Samurai. That's right, it was the Nicholas Samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. So he must have worn that Nicholas Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. I knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume. What? Do you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy thinking such rude things. But the possibility does exist. Young as today, I told you, there's no way it was anyone else. How do you know that? Because I said so, and what I say is the truth. At least she's just as delightful as a witness as she was a year ago. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine a witness. Please take a look at this. Yes, it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know it won't work. No, that's not my intention at all. That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct? Your Honour, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to this case? You don't even have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it. Is that what you're driving at? That is exactly what I'm driving at. What are we driving at? Whose car are we driving? Mr. Engarde was really in the Nicholas Samurai costume at the time of the murder, and it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. Actually, he would have wiped all previous fingerprints on this knife right off. Oh, that's right, the Nicholas Samurai wears gloves, doesn't he? He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing. And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon. There's no way he would do something like that. However, there's one possibility. Let's hear your possibility. Very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as the Nicholas Samurai. At that time, the defendant had no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show. Which is why he took all his gloves off. But the murder still did take place. It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim. Yes, I have heard that before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory? Let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any problems with this theory? This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. Engarde was the killer, if that's the case. I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent. This knife, this was used by Mr. Engarde at dinner. Yes, we did establish that. Which means that if my client was in fact the killer, he brought this knife with him when he went to Mr. Carina. Suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant had no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was full from supposition 1. And one more thing. The murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, and there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us.
Order, I say. Order in the court. Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing? It's to frame my client, Mr. Engarde, of course. To frame? Aren't you forcing the interpretation a little too hard on this one? But we just established that the witness saw the nickel samurai in costume. If that were true, there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Witness! Next time I made your life a tiny bit more difficult, huh, Edgy Poo? Witness, did you or did you not really see the nickel samurai? Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but... You saying you mixed up Mr. Engarde with the nickel samurai, his character on TV? I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. I was waiting around in front of their doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the nickel samurai, that's for sure. She wasn't waiting for the nickel samurai? Alright then, who were you waiting around for then? That's top secret to anyone outside of security. I think you were going to wait for Mr. Engarde. Am I correct, witness? Ha! The way you think, you are a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness. Amateur? Really? What am I amateur of? Swordback was waiting around in front of the victim's room. But it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Corrida. Maybe, Phoenix, maybe the old bag was waiting around for that person. If it's who I think it's me is hinting at, then it's certainly possible. Old bag. You were waiting for this person to come out of the victim's room, weren't you? Who is this person? This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. Engarde's manager. Why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room? Seems that this is the latest rumour in circulation, Your Honour. Oh, this? Wow, this is what I see. The judge seems to be really into the article, if it could be called such a thing. Then this manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's... Adrian Andrews, without doubt, the witness thought so as well. Looks like you found me out. Witness? What in the world are you? Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a very bad feeling about this. I got some information, some very secret information. So that's why I was doing my own investigation. In secret, of course. What for? Oh, just for myself, personal reasons and all that. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how will you proceed from here? I really don't want to do this, but however, I can't let this point slide. I see. Very well then. Witness, please testify about this secret information. Get ready, it's going to take the wind out of you young'uns. I'm sure we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old. Matt Engarde is one evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. Can't condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret, you got that? Nobody else but you and me know yet, okay? The defendant sent this manager, well, this distasteful topic for the court. What? Nobody's above gossip. Isn't there a saying? Truth is never pleasant. Never heard that one before. Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person? We looked into this matter and found that the truth of the article proposed is in fact baseless gossip. But shouldn't this be true? This proves that the defendant did better will towards the victim. So this means I have to smash this rumour once and for all. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Be careful, the old bag seems rather excited right now. That's right! Engarde is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth. Well, as the old saying goes, you've got to burn old bags with fire. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. Wait, what? I'm a busy woman. Tea time that gets is over. Secret information no one else knows yet? If that's true, then how do you know this secret information? Huh? Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it. It's a secret. Even if you drill the hole into my brain, you'll never find out. How in the world did that old bag get such a secret piece of information? So no one's supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Miss Oldbag? Why you look at me like that? Stop that, witness. It's it, but it's how you came to acquire it. The investigative photographer Lotta Hart. Oh yes, that mischievous girl. She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself. She reported such a thing. On that piece of paper she had written down some of her impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews. What? Outrageous ideas, you say? No, I said impressions. Then every written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless. Ah, that's it. That's the note. No, you see, this is something completely different. It's my top secret list of groceries to buy. No, you are the one who took Miss Hart's note. A huge fan of plans, that's why. Infamous puffy head whippersnapper. Working with that evil Engarde, she said so herself. Engarde, I'm his psychic. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. Are you checking what she'd written? Edgy Pooh, you believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before. You really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. Well, it was only a piece of paper. I was going over this just this once. She looks like she's really sorry. Shall I forgive her? If I let her fall in out, she'll get away. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness! You said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct? Stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper from the terribly lonely Thomas Crown, that's all. You're lying, damn it, I can prove it! Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again? Miss Oldbag? I don't believe the note is the only thing you stole that night. Miss Oldbag, that note was with the camera inside its case, wasn't it? The camera? Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, my sweetie $1.600 camera disappeared on me. Why witness? Why then, Gramps? If you have the note, then it's only logical you have the camera too. Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for? Oh, that's... What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know? I still eat meals like you, I fall in love and borrow things from people. I think the definition of borrow is a little off. Saw that woman's business card when I noticed it said Slime Bag Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire. When I saw that, I had to know what sort of picture she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things. Beta, check this camera's photographs. Hurry! We must examine them at once. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have? Only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case. Please present it to the court. This is the Nickel Samurai. See, I told you, that's the guy I saw. This proves that the witness was not lying only about this matter. What does all this mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photo by itself does not prove that the person is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Engarde clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume. If that is the case, then this Nickel Samurai is the defendant. How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We've examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree this photo is decisive against your client? This photo really is decisive and we're done for. If I raise an objection and blow it, then I'd put Maya's life in jeopardy. Can't make a mistake here. We're one road out of this mess. This photo, look at this. There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming right before Mr. Edgeworth. I think we can all agree there is nothing strange with this photo. No way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster. Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright? Anyway, please look at the photo one more time. You really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo? You should only need one chance, correct? Well, I have to find something. It's a lot of focus. Why can't you take a good shot? I'd like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here. When you point to her ankles, if you can see this person's ankles, then no, that would be one thing, however you can't. And what does this mean? The costume person in the photo could not have been Mr. Engarde. What is the meaning of this? I wonder if you care to elaborate with actual facts, that is. Take a look at the Nickel Sunrise poster. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the armour. His socks? You can see his socks? Exactly. However, in this photo, Nickel Sunrise clearly holding his armour up just to walk. There's only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume clearly much shorter than the defendant. Alright, I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. What is it? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself as if he's along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. Doesn't feel under attack? Then I haven't damaged his case at all. Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? The person in this photo is not Matt Engarde. Everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless. I figured it would come to this. What? Right, that's something I want to ask you. I think you've proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt Engarde. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who is the person wearing the Saga costume? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah, why is he so calm? Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is the person in this photo? Adrian Andrews. If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, it's none other than this woman. And why would you say it must be Adrian Andrews? What in the world points to her? For starters, she's short, and she can freely move in and out of Mr. Edgeworth's room. Engarde's room, I should say. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Engarde that night. How does that all add up? It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Engarde's fingerprints all over it. The knife that was used as a murder weapon? Why don't you just say what it is you want, right? I have to do this now, it's my last chance to turn things around. The defence moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Uncle Reader. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime. Order, order, order! It looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honour? This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Andrews. The victim cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. Alright, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to the court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day. More day? Oh no. If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya. Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow. What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court. Now then. Please, Your Honour. Continue trying. Must pass the verdict today. I can't do that. Okay. I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honour, I request that you please continue with today's trial. But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honour. What do you mean by that? Now, Mr. Phoenix Wright would save his way to subpoenaing Mr. Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What?
What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgware? Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She is the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by that man. Somehow I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews, so this battle is far from over. Exactly. Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we'll take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. Dude, I can't believe that Adrian, no way, not cool, collected Adrian Andrews. She's your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife who used it was, well, her. So after during the ceremony during the break, I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See, she could have easily planted that blood-covered button in your karma. Because she was the one that came to wake me up. And dude, you'll say it was really her? Yeah, she's a real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Corrida. Why? I thought she was best with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. You'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Get me a verdict? That's professional at Supreme Breeze, okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note, right? Yeah. Miss Andrews depended on Impact's strength and reason to live. But then, Miss Impact suddenly killed herself. Sounds like she left a suicide note, and the person thought to have hidden it is Juan Corrida, the victim of murder. And that's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Corrida, all to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible, but one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impacts. It was Edgeworth. Looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. Forward, I'll reconvene. Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. Prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Mr. Adrian Andrews, who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Corrida's room. What's your occupation? I'm the manager and the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Engarde. I see. Now then, before we begin, Your Honour, I have one request. Yeah, sure, what is it? I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing. I would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. I have no idea what you mean. I've never heard of Gossip Land. If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I've seen Mr. Corrida. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. This was a private matter between Juan and myself. I'm not sure it was a fry and bait matter, or was that bait and fry? It reminds me of fishing. But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that. I think there's someone who would beg to differ. I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that I went to Juan's room, and there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was naturally the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. You poured yourself a glass of juice? Yes, sadly I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime, and I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honour. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Phoenix, she's one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. Disrupt her pacing?
She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking, so you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offence is the instant this trial is over. Understand? Crystal clear. You were in shock? What? Was I not supposed to be? Miss Andrews is a very calculating person. As well close to where I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Corrida. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. And you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. Somehow I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not. I see. Juice? Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There was no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I'd like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Corrida, you were in great shock, and that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? Mine really was complete blank at the time. Your mind was complete blank? I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing? What one thing? Never mind, it's no big deal. What was she starting to say just now? Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry, it's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime scene photo? This massive glass shard? It was originally on top of the dresser. When I bumped into it in my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. Why did you withhold such an important piece of information? I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess. Looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal into your testimony. I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. I was the one who knocked the flower vase over where it fell onto the guitar case. You testified that you knocked over the flower vase over, is this correct? Yes. And you were sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem, it's just a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. That's very true. Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case. And what is that? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. And what is wrong with that? If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shard should be inside, not outside the case. What's your point, right? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all? No, think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yes, that's right, she did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case. But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. Bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it? It seems that there is no deeper meaning to this guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case? The empty guitar case? I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. Can't believe I'm doing this either. Alright, I'll follow along. For now. Ms. Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. Yes, Your Honour. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As to why I opened the case, even I don't know. It looks like this really wasn't very important at the point. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now, it's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Don't use any way to change the subject. A convenient escape for a weak man. There is no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints in this guitar case are those of the victim.
What is it, Miss Andrews?
You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case. What do you mean? What if I was to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time?
Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time?
It was the night of the awards ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember, I'm always sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime.
You were wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time? I have your proof right here, this wine glass. Wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself the glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case?
Order, order, order.
It's like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. It's just an empty case. I wonder if it really was empty though. But the guitar, the bright red guitar, was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not in the bright red guitar. You don't mean it was a bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either.
I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that, so the witness was not wearing gloves despite the fact that on the case...
Your Honour, this is obviously the defence's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided... No, Your Honour, please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I'm sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you are so sure, right, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please enlighten us as to why the guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder.
Can you do that, Mr. Wright?
Well, let's suppose for a second the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in this case.
Bright red guitar not being the only thing.
So you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty, is that it, Mr. Wright? I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder?
This is a photograph.
Yes, but what is important is what is in that picture, Your Honour.
In this picture.
Doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is... Inside the guitar case is a nickel samurai. Here is his very own costume. What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Right, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be doing just that? My insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Ms. Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she can make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot correct. You mean this photo? Order! It looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume. Wait 1 second, Your Honour. The Nickel Sunrise costume would be Mr. Matt Engarde's. Why would something of the defendants be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places? True, that is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, court would like to hear your thoughts. What was his Nickel Sunrise costume doing in the guitar case? Mr. Engarde did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we are talking about was a spare one. What? Are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Sunrise costumes at the Gatewater Hotel? Yes, that's what I'm saying. How do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case? It would mean that the victim himself had brought this spare to the ceremony on purpose. But why? The victim, Mr. Corrida, was the jamming ninja. Why would he secretly bring a Nickel Sunrise spare costume with him? What could be the reason? Behind such a peculiar act. And therein lies the sticking point. What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Huh? No, Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Sunrise spare costume? Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer, and then answer with gusto, I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Sunrise spare costume was... What is this? On the night of the murder after stage show, the Nickel Sunrise was going to hold a special press conference. Press conference? Yes, the Nickel Sunrise was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making this up, right? But what struck me as strange as was what Mr. Engarde said. I had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. But how can that be? When I see it, it can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida himself. A victim? Yes. Spare Nickel Sunrise costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Corrida was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai. He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference. Why would the victim do such a thing? Something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at the conference. Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I believe he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Corrida, posing as Nickel Samurai, is going to speak about Mr. Matt Engarde. Yes, I guess that's what it would mean. If that's the case, that's not confession, that's public disclosure. Ms. Andrews? I can see why you are pros at what you do. Pardon me? Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan. Ms. Andrews, please offer an explanation. I was the one he asked to help set it up, and the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me. Juan had bet everything on the Javelin Ninja this year. If he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway. Going to ruin him? Huh? Looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. What? And do you know what the secret of Matt Engarde is, Miss Andrews? That's something anyone knew. I don't know what it is. I see. I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone, but that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt after all. Protect Mr. Engarde? And yet again, a strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could please tell us the truth about your behaviour. Yes, Your Honour, I understand. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what, and he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt I had to protect him. This does account for everything. Well, I am the logical type. Finally seeing her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit. If the defence can find no fault with his testimony, I am ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine Mr. Wright. It's like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I'm going to have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. Fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then what about the button? Button? Clear from the crime scene the victim and his murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume. We're all talking about this button, correct? That button was found in the pleats of Matt Sakama, isn't that correct? I think that makes it very decisive evidence. Looks like you were out fast again, Mr. Wright. Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. Can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Thank goodness Mia can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes. Miss Andrews and Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony. That button was torn off while during his fight with Matt. This is the victim's autopsy report. Clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off the costume. When? After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means it's impossible this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. Ah, that's right, Miss Andrews. There's no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off of the victim's already dead body. Order! What is the meaning? What's the meaning of this, right? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know this button was not torn off during the fight, so the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does this mean you know that the murderer wants to do with the button? What was it? There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. It's to pin the crime on Matt Engarde. No way anyone could put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right, Mr. Engarde was set up. By the real killer, of course. And the real murderer is... Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then? Finally, I cannot believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet, not until the very end. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. Engarde is... Ms. Adrian Andrews. I choose you! You are Mr. Creeder's killer. What? Order, Mr. Wright. This is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence to support your charge? Any evidence? All of the evidence points towards Miss Andrews. What, how preposterous, she can't see any of that on me? I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he'd already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion on Mr. Engarde, naturally. The knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who'd had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Then, what about the button that was found in Matt's armor? This button was removed from the victim's body after he'd already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Engarde was the real killer, there was no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own armor. The only person who could have put this button into Mr. Engarde's armor is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you yet again, Miss Andrews. Let's see, what about the empty guitar case? That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was just such a costume inside the guitar case? It would only be the person who prepared the costume for the final victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. No, But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. It was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right. That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that, yes indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. And to top it all off, there was this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on earth can believe this nickel summarised Mr. Engarde. He'd be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got it this time. Miss Andrews? I refuse to testify. What was that? There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me. Well, yes, you are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can damage themselves. What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Engarde's room, Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood? Alright. That's it. That's what Franziska planted this idea into her head. She must have told Mr. Andrews to not testify if things look bad. Did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there's still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done? What's wrong, right? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence? What's so humorous, Mr. Redworth? I'm sure you realise this as well, Your Honour. Everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you're proving is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbour a wish to murder Mr. Creeder. Miss Andrews, you want to kill Mr. Creeder? I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I'll abstain from answering. But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think? Maybe so, or maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I'd be guilty of due to my silence.
No, she's taking that defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do? Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation. I think we've reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Ms. Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defence's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid, definitive proof. But that's not true. In this situation, there's only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess. Recess? I request that both the prosecution and defence look into this matter, and at tomorrow's trial, tomorrow? We don't have a tomorrow if we don't get a not guilty verdict today then. Please wait, Your Honour, that's not necessary. Trial, please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. It isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If we don't get the verdict, then it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. No, this court is... It is not impossible for this trial to continue. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you... It's true Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation was something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that is very true, but... Actually, there is one little thing I'm curious about. Miss Andrews, when you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and? Kind of think how unnatural that is. Especially when one finds a body, they're shaking up, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state if you have a reason behind your actions, I'd like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honour, I'd like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what it's about Edgeworth today. I can't get a good read off him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know. Court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please. A glass of juice? I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, I thought he was dead, didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realised he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. So you poured that glass of juice to the victim? Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony? I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours? No, that's right, you move again, your cross-examination. So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body. What is the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious, Your Honour? There is a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Corrida's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought that here was a dead man. Well, you see, I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this as someone who fainted, and so nonchalantly go pouring themselves a drink. Your point is, Miss Andrews, your testimony just now is all one giant lie. And your lie has proven one thing very clearly. That you are the real killer. No! It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt Engarde, is not guilty after all.
But that's impossible, you're wrong.
Miss Andrews, try to have some composure.
It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt, I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan.
But you were the one who refused to testify, and your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself.
That's because...
Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you?
I refuse to testify.
There is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Engarde's innocence has been clearly demonstrated.
Is it over? Have we found the truth at last?
It's one thing, it's usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt.
And now meanwhile, this is the first time someone hasn't.
Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt Engarde.
Your Honour, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass on a verdict this time.
What?
The reason's quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth.
The absolute real truth? What are you?
Witness, don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head. As long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Engarde will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie, I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over and Matt would never be declared guilty. What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it? I can't speak about it, I'm too scared. It's Francisca von Karma, huh? Don't you remember Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another, because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. And right now, Miss Andrews is... Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss von Karma. Don't say a word no matter what happens. If you do, Matt Engarde will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now and is clinging on to them. Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? What we have to do now is get our not guilty. That is my only priority. It wasn't me, I'm begging you. Please believe me, I didn't kill Juan. Help. Please, someone, help me.
Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honour. The court can't continue on like this, therefore I'd like to hear what you intend to do.
What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say?
Right, I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do.
And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? No one else it could be except the woman crying over there, right? Come on now, what will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? I have to win a complete acquittal today, there's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this, not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you are really hiding.
Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing?
Sure, Mr. Engarde will get an acquittal. In his place, you'll be found guilty. Is this how you would really want this trial to end? Be quiet, how dare you? You're trying to trick me.
That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear the defence's theory is the truth.
You're wrong. What a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this, however.
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop! Mr. Edgeworth. This witness, how shall I put this? She has an illness. What? And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Stop! Please stop! No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. That's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I am about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares them more than anything else in this world. Please, please stop! I beg you! If people find out, I'll... If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. Edgeworth, how can you be so cold? However, before you die, I'll pull the truth from your still breathing lips, no matter what I have to do. So will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me. I'll talk, but please, help me. Nothing matters anymore. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted, honest. When I realised he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room, and then I stabbed Juan's dead body with a knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience, and that's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume.
Stabbed the body with a knife? But why would you do that?
Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person, a certain cowardly man.
What did you mean by all of this?
It might take this court a little while to understand, but this is the truth. The real killer is Matt, that scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. So Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Corrida, in the chest with a knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt Engarde for the murder. And this is her crime. What? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination. But you could tell from the state of the room that was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say you did not know he was dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck. And that scarf was part of the Jammer Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up and went to pour the juice. What is this plan you had? I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because Juan, he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. That was so you could get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with the costume on at the time. Slipped in, took the knife and returned to the scene of the crime. So you were the one to stab the victim with that knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I realised something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspect. So you thought to rip off one of the buttons and then plant it in Mr. Engarde's Hakama? Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? An inconvenience? There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lotta. There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That's Miss Oldbag for you. I'd already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again. You were the one who prepared the costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it in to Juan's guitar case the day before the awards ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes, Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He's going to disclose Matt's big secret there.
What is the secret?
That, I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Han's room in the Nickel Samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume. I think we've heard enough. So after that, you went back to Mr. Engarde's room and planted the button. Into Matt's Sakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. And I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it. My word, what does all this mean? Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Engarde. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Franziska. She said that I should under no circumstances confess to what I had done. If I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words. What is this? What this witness is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer. Wait, Your Honour. Defence still... Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Ms. Andrews on anything.
Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as a murderer. Cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright.
But...
Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning.
Understood, Your Honour. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately.
That is all. Court is adjourned for today.
Today's trial, it's over. I didn't win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I asked you something? Edgeworth? What is it? Before you leave court today, I wonder if I might look at that one thing. That card in your hand, it's had my interest for some time now. What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright, I remember just now I found this in the room on that day. The room? That day? Yeah. I found this card when I discovered Han's body. It was lying there right next to him. You found that card next to the victim's body? I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Han's murder, right? Yeah, I guess not, but still a strange card if you ask me. But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why. Witness! That card! Give it to me! Hurry! Edgeworth? Do you have any idea what you've stupidly yet inadvertently done? This... I can't believe you hid this from me all this time! I didn't mean to. What is all this about? I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. That card, what in the world is it and what does it mean? What does it mean indeed? We'll find out in the next episode. This has been Darth Browner, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Don't forget to give us a like and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next video. Ciao for now, bye!